I'm BrigantiaBlackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Tuesday, December 31st, 2024. It is the 11th of Capricorn, the day of L's, and we are writing the last lines of 2024. And this also completes a full year of the daily forecast. When I began it last year, it was this, I didn't appear in front of the camera. It was just a few simple slides, a few little tidbits. And then I think it was in March where I expanded it and we talked a little bit more. But nevertheless, the series has reached its 1 year anniversary. Very exciting milestone. And we'll see what happens in 2025. So let's take care of today first. It is Oath Night, New Year's Eve. We need to be setting those resolutions. I really do encourage you to do that, especially if you have very specific changes and ideas and goals that you do want to achieve. There's something about making it official that I think helps. So tonight, perform a ritual to take a solemn oath, give yourself extra motivation, hold yourself accountable. For some reason, people think it's okay if they break their promises to themselves, but I'm here to say no. It is not okay for you to break your word to yourself. If you fulfill your own private vows to yourself, it forms a habit of actually keeping your word, and that makes it much more likely you live up to the promises you make to others. And that is such a huge thing in the pagan world of, fulfilling your oaths. Being good for your word, doing what you say you're going to do. It affects your interpersonal relationships on every possible level. So I really encourage you strongly to make this a priority and make sure you are keeping your promises to yourself. For guidance, you might do some divination tonight, and of course, enjoy one last night of cheer. Stay up till midnight, watch the ball drop. Whatever it is that gives you kind of that New Year's Eve buzz. Let's go ahead and let's do that. Let's have a little last bit of excitement before we have the more austere January to get into. Now for our astrology, the sun is in Capricorn, cardinal earth, representing ambition. The moon is first quarter Capricorn, cardinal earth, representing tradition. Mercury is in Sagittarius, mutable fire, which is to be opinionated. Venus is in Aquarius, fixed air, which is to be intellectual. Mars is retrograding in Leo, fixed fire, which is tempered action. Jupiter is retrograding in Gemini, mutable air, which is to broaden perspective. Saturn is in Pisces, mutable water, which represents nostalgia. Uranus is retrograding in Taurus, fixed earth, representing rebellion. Neptune is in Pisces, mutable water, representing intuition. And Pluto is in Aquarius, fixed air, representing reformation. So let's take a minute with our retrograde reminders. As I mentioned yesterday, we are entering the new year with just 3 planets in retrograde, which compared to the past few months doesn't feel that hefty of a load to shoulder. But I want us to really look closely at exactly how we are meant to be spending these retrograde periods. Think of Mars, reconsider what you really want. That is huge going into the next calendar year. What do you really want? Are you doing what you ought to be doing, what you want to be doing, or are you living someone else's life? Are you living in accordance with someone else's designs and desires? If that is the situation you're in, this is the time to really reflect and think, maybe that's not why I'm on this earth. Maybe I do have a purpose that I ought to be pursuing. And then you have Jupiter chime right in with that. Reconnect with your true path. If we are doing something that is false to our convictions, we know it. We know that we're being dishonest with ourselves and possibly by extension, or I should say, by consequence, being dishonest with other people if we are giving a false impression of ourselves and our convictions. So reconnecting with that true path, walking our talk, actually having some integrity that we can hold to. I think that's going to be a really big thing in 2025. I just feel like there's a huge shakeup over the next couple of years, and it's going to be hitting really hard in 2025. So you do want to be working in alignment with what you want. You do want to be actually walking your proper path. And then that brings us finally to Uranus. Reconsider how you rebel. And I would also say, reconsider what exactly is it that you are in rebellion of? And are your acts of rebellion, however they're manifesting, is that actually changing anything, or is it just lashing out? If it's just lashing out, we really need to reconsider. And also we need to reconsider, what it is we're rebelling against. Maybe the problem isn't necessarily the problem that we've been focusing upon. This is an opportunity to really shift our perspective, to really take hold of ourselves and think, okay, what do I really want my life to actually be about? And shedding the things that just don't belong. So there's a heavy thought for you to take with you today. Now we have a waxing crescent moon, so nurture yourself and your new ideas. This is perfect energy for the new year. And then we have that Capricorn moon. Its themes are sobriety and discipline, so that goes right along with us pursuing our resolutions. So the end of 2024, I think on the whole, it is ending on a high note and a reflective note. We have the waxing moon again and its placement in Capricorn. That is really going to help propel us forward. We have the Mars retrograde that's going to continue on for a while. So again, just choose your next steps very carefully. Lay the groundwork so you can have an outstanding 2025. In our tarot, we have the King of Candles. This is the last card we're going to see from the Yuletide Tarot deck until next year, so I hope you enjoy it. But kings in this deck represent stoicism, stability, authority, and being established. And the suit of candles that represents the suit of wands and, of course, the element of fire. His keywords are forceful, creative, and charming. So, how do we want to bring all of that into the new year? Of course, we want to be forceful when it comes to pursuing our goals. We didn't set those goals on a whim, presumably. We may need to be creative about how to actually manifest those goals, about how we can pursue them, and perhaps about making necessary adjustments as the year goes along. And of course, charm. Well, you've heard that old saying about how you attract more flies with honey than you do vinegar. I think it's time for us to all start re-civilizing ourselves. We've had so many years of just harshness of people saying whatever pops into their head, doing whatever pops into their head, sometimes to really disastrous consequence. And I keep seeing all of these signals astrologically and through divination and meditation that's just saying it is time to stop acting as if we were all born in a barn. It's time to remember that we are civilized people. It is time to cultivate good manners. It's time to re-embrace actually living life on a higher level and leaving a lot of the shrill shrieking behind. Then today's Celtic triad, three things which help avert calamity: to worship the mighty ones, to be upright, and to exercise fortitude. So, worshiping the gods, it teaches us to keep that big picture in mind, and it reminds us that we do have a need for wisdom that is beyond our own. We're humans, we're limited. The gods have a much broader perspective, and of course, they've existed for goodness knows how long. So, they've seen a lot more than we have, and so they have better advice to give us just because of more experience. And then to be upright, living in a moral way that upbuilds our soul. It improves relationships, and that really does set us up for success, or at the very least, to avoid needless problems. And then fortitude. That enables us to avoid being overwhelmed and defeated by life's inevitable ups and downs. Fortitude is what enables us to look, well, what happened here? Perhaps it wasn't so great. However, it does not impact my resolve. It does not change what I've set out to do. It does not invalidate, anything that I'm trying to accomplish. I'm just going to keep carrying on. Maybe it is going to be a bit more difficult for a period of time, but the difficulty isn't what matters. The vision for what I'm trying to achieve is. I really like that we're ending the year on this particular one. I feel like that's very bracing. Now, our magical correspondences, they are centered on the idea of truth. The color is red, the plant is the snapdragon, the animal is the woodpecker, and the crystal is garnet. So it's relatively easy to discover facts. I mean, sometimes you have to sort through a lot of different sources of information to arrive at the facts, but you can find the facts for a lot of things. But then finding truth, let's step beyond the facts. That's something that is about understanding the meaning of what those facts represent, and sometimes that does require divine assistance. So if you are sorting through any kind of areas in your life when you really are looking for truth, don't hesitate to invoke your gods. Don't hesitate to make use of these correspondences. Give yourself a leg up to make this process a little less difficult. Then our hearth-keeping hint for today is about it is time to update the calendar. There's all kinds of really lovely pagan-inspired calendars out there. Of course, I have my day planner that I always get from Llewellyn. This is a Year of the Witch 2025 calendar from Temperance Alden. I'm sure there's plenty of others out there, but there are all these blank spaces that are needing notes and are ready for the making of plans and everything else. So definitely get going on that. Then, for our practice, make your oaths tonight and celebrate the calendar new year. Focus on tasks. Contemplate our archetype of the winter warrior. How will this idea help you seize that new year? For meditation, what challenge are you looking forward to? If you can see your challenges ahead and have a sense of glee about them and kind of approach it like, this is the thing you're going to conquer, I think you will have a greater success when you are actually dealing with those challenges. Then if you happen to have any tumbled emerald, you might decide to carry or wear that today. Then for our creative corner, get your bedroom ready to face the rest of the winter. Yes, we're probably all taking down our Yuletide decorations and we're removing the fun festive cheer. But it's still going to be winter, so we need to choose colors, textures, decor that cozy things up, help us feel warm, and enable us to enjoy the season rather than just suffering through it. And then our final journal prompt of the year. What goals have you set for yourself in 2025 and why are those goals important to you? And I think it is a good thing if maybe you do make yourself a bucket list that you want to do in 2025. If you write down and make a plan for what it is you want to do, you're much more likely to do it. So, what are those things? And I hope you have a nice, cozy journal entry that really helps you, makes you want to start in the new year with a lot of gusto. So, for the last time in 2024, have a magical day. I wish you bright blessings and all the joys of the season in these final hours of Yuletide. I hope you've enjoyed our special focus on the festive season. I hope that's inspired you to perhaps expand your own practice and start planning about how you might add additional nuances to it next year. But that's it for now, and I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow with the first daily forecast of 2025. But bye.